Welcome back. Joining me now is Glenn with the Young Audiences of Northeast Texas and Justin with the Rusk County Poetry and Schools Coordinator, and they are here to share about their upcoming poetry contest. So how are we doing today?
Great, David.
Great, doing
Thanks
great.
for having us.
Sir. So Glenn, tell us a bit about why you're here today.
Well, most of the people in your audience by now know about Young Audiences and our work with integrating arts into the schools in our region. And when people think of the arts, they normally think of performing arts, things like, band and orchestra and choir and visual arts, things like that. But we also have a commitment to the literary arts. And so for many years, Young Audiences has been sponsoring a Poetry in Schools contest. And with me today is my friend and the coordinator of that event, Justin Robinson from the Rusk Poetry Society.
All right, Justin. So tell us a little bit about your own passion for poetry and the history of the Poetry in Schools contest.
Yes, so I am a poet living in Henderson, Texas. I'm a published poet as well and a member of the Texas Poetry Society, the American Academy for Poets, and then the Rusk County Poetry Society. And it's the Rusk County Poetry Society that I'm most proud of because of their long-standing partnership with Poetry in Schools. So over 40 years ago, the Rusk County Poetry Society created the Poetry in Schools program because they were trying to figure out a way to celebrate April, which is National Poetry Month. And then they were also at the same time trying to figure out a way to encourage students to read more poetry and write more poetry. So what they were able to do was combine those two things together and then create the Poetry in Schools program that has an awards ceremony that takes place in April of each year for National Poetry Month.
Yes, sir. And how have each of you seen this program kind of impact students and schools of Northeast Texas?
You first, my friend.
Yeah, so it's a large impact for our area. Actually, each year we judge around 1,000 poems, and that's roughly 60 classrooms that are represented each year. So that way we know that we're making an impact because our educators are teaching our students how to read poetry and how to enjoy poetry, and then they're also teaching them how to write their own poetry because we know because they're submitting a poem as part of their curriculum for the year. So that way we get to enjoy what's coming from the hearts of all our students here in East Texas.
One of my former students, who's now a student at UT Austin, when she was in elementary school, had some diagnosed learning differences, severe dyslexia. And she said that many of her friends in school would tease her and give her a hard time because of her learning differences. But she composed a poem, and it was somewhat autobiographical about her struggles. It won the contest, she was published, and she became a sort of a celebrity, in the classroom, and kids were proud of her and not mocked her any longer.
Yes, sir. And tell us a little bit about the submission process and how that goes.
Yeah, so our students would be able to submit a poem by doing it as part of their classwork. So the teachers would be working with Young Audiences to submit that poem. And then there's a form that they do to submit that, isn't there?
Yes, on our website, if you go to Young Audiences of Northeast Texas, on that website, and scroll down, you'll find a page that says Poetry in Schools Contest. If you click on that, it'll take you to a submission form that you fill out, and that'll come to our office. We'll compile those, get them to the judges, and that all happens in the month of February. So you have the month of February to submit your poems. So please be working on that.
Yes, sir. And Justin, what is the presentation ceremony like?
The presentation ceremony is a wonderful celebration of poetry. So we bring in all of our awards winners from grades first grade through 12th grade. Each student that's won first, second, or third place in the competition gets to read their poem aloud on stage, so it's just like a real poetry reading. And then they also get to have that poem published in an anthology so that then they can say that they are a published poet. And then all of the ceremony culminates in the awards of the Rusk County Poetry Society giving a scholarship to the first place winner for our senior who is graduating out of the program.
And what's that like, seeing the joy on their faces when they're getting recognized out there?
No, it's wonderful to see these students just have such a celebration of who they are. They put themselves into the poem, everything to do with who they are as a person. They put that down on on paper. Then they get to read that in front of family and friends and their educator who's been teaching them. So it's a wonderful achievement for the student. It's a remarkable amount of courage and dedication that they do as a young student to be able to read that aloud. And then we all get to celebrate and applaud their success after they get through reading it.
And Glenn, why is poetry and art so important for the children here in Northeast Texas?
Well, like I said, David, not every student is going to be able to play an instrument or sing or act or something like that. But the literary arts give students an opportunity to, explore their other gifts. And it gives them an opportunity to be expressive, be creative. And then when we celebrate that, it kind of gives them a status, a sense of I've achieved something very special. And because it's preserved in the anthology, they can go back and read it, for years to come and share it with family and friends, and it's something to be proud of.
Yes, sir. And one more time, where can they submit those poems?
If you go to our website, Young Audiences of Northeast Texas, scroll down the page a little bit, and you'll see a picture that says Poetry in Schools. If you click on that picture, it's interactive, and it'll take you to the submission page.
Yes, sir. Well, thank y'all so much for coming in and telling us all about it.
Thank you. Thank you,
David.
Justin.
Yes, sir. For more information, go to the website right there on your screen.